Hey Hiroshi, this is the fish tank. That's the saltwater tank on top, and down below is the wooden cabinet and the filter. The wooden cabinet, we made that cabinet from scratch. Also, most of the filter stuff below is made. A lot of it's made from scratch and other pieces. So I'm going to show you a zoom in real quick on the tank. There's a few of the fish that we have. That one's a blue tang. The other two are clownfish. The two clownfish are hanging out by an anemone in the back, and then those are also two other anemones. The orange with the pink tip is a bubble anemone, and then the brown one down below is a condi anemone. So that we keep all those guys on one side because they have the ability to move around. So if they move around, they can wind up stinging other corals because they sting other corals to keep their territory. So we keep them on one side so they don't hurt any other corals. And then we go over this way. This is a bunch of live rock with a bunch of different corals on it. The coral on the bottom is the red one with the green kind of round, bright red with a bright green in the center. That's a Wasophilia. He has two mouths in the center. He can eat like minnows or shrimp. The one on the end over here, that's called a torch coral. He pretty much just gets most of his food from the little particles in the water and the light. Then over here, the kind of the bright green one there, that's called a hammer. It's a torch hammer, or excuse me, it's a hammer coral. It gets most of its food from light or small stuff in the water. That orange one in the back, that's a sunburst coral. It has little yellow things look like flowers that come out when it wants to eat. It comes out and starts filtering stuff. And then this one here, that's some sort of a leather coral. He just kind of filters stuff out of the water too for food. Those ones in the back over there, they are can't think of the name right now, but the smaller guy up on the top, the three small ones, those are called candy cane coral. He doesn't take any food, he just strictly gets his food from the light. That one green and brown one, he has little tentacles that come out to filter stuff out of the water. I can't think of his name right offhand. And then the kind of the long one right next to the green and brown one, that's a mushroom coral. He just kind of filters stuff from the water. And down below, that guy there is called Kenya tree. It's kind of cool. It's got real fine little bristle branches, and it just filters food out of the water. These guys over here, I should have looked up the names, but this one over here, he's more of a he feeds off of really calcium in the water, and just kind of keeps building up his skeleton from calcium in the water, and just gets you bigger and bigger. What else do we got? There's a bigger one there. Same thing, that he just kind of keeps growing and growing from calcium in the water, keeps building on. Those clownfish, they like to live in the anemone back there. They actually work together with the anemone. The clownfish will bring food over and drop it into the anemone and feed him, and then the anemone will protect the clowns from other predators. So it's kind of a cool thing that they do together. Up in the top, there's a pump right there to make sure there's enough water flow to move any debris around, so that debris will feed the corals. Up on this side is the input of the filter. That's where the water comes out of the tank, and that water goes out of the tank into this little overflow valve here. You can see one of the Olympus temperature gauges expired, so I have it now. And there's the hose going down. In the back, you'll see like a number 25 on the meter. That's a protection device. If the water temperature gets too hot, we'll shut the heater off. And then those two white things are just timers that control the lights. Make the light come on at a certain time, makes the light go off at a certain time. That one in the back is a pH meter. That's a pH meter. It reads the pH of the water, make sure it's not too acidic or too alkaline. And that kind of tells the condition of the water based on the chemicals that are in the water. So if it's not right, you have to test the water and adjust the chemicals to make sure it stays correct. Otherwise the corals will get really sick really fast. Down below, this is called a sump. This does a lot of the filtering. This little plastic box on the far right is where the water comes in from the tank up above. It goes into here, and it has this white, it's called a filter sock, and the water goes through that, and that filters out any heavy particles in the water. And then the water kind of pours out. You can see it dripping out of there. It pours out into another sock. What you can see right here is the other sock. Whoops, oh, I zoomed it up. Hold on. Bring it back down. So that water goes into another sock and filters it again, and then the water flows through. Kind of hard to see right now, but there's green over here. This is all green, what they call microalgae. It's actually like algae that it's a plant that grows in there, and that plant will absorb a lot of the bad pollutants out of the water. So it kind of helps get the water more conditioned so the corals can live in it better. And then as the water flows through that green algae, it goes down through here, comes into this area, and then there's a pump right here that pumps the water back up to the fish tank up above. This little guy right here, it's a phosban reactor. It has little kind of metallic particles in here that help to kill some of the pollutants also that's in the water, and it prevents algae from growing in the tank up above. So this thing runs all the time also. But that's the basic tank. It's a really interesting hobby. There's so much to learn about it. If you have a lot of time, this would be a great hobby for you, because it keep you busy every day trying to make sure the water is correct, temperature, chemicals, food, one coral. You have to be careful with these corals, because if you put corals too close together, they do different things to each other. Some will sting another coral, others will expel like a chemical into the water to kind of ward off the other. So you have to be really careful what kind of corals you put together. Just like certain fish will not get along, same thing goes with corals. Certain ones are compatible with others. So you have to learn about all that stuff before you put them all in your tank. Anyway, just wanted to show you a quick video, and we'll talk to you later. Take care.